course, into our second house admin business just for hoping you're having a lovely course today. The weather is a little bit favorable. Yeah, trust me. So please, no excuse, no excuse. We are finishing up the month. We're just left with a few days, I think 8 days, so that we can wrap up this year and get to 2024. I'm excited about it. Inshallah, God willing, being on my side. Well, of course, my name is Masakatsime, and of course, later on I'll be joined with Andrew, and of course, shall be having quite interesting topics. But of course, as you know, here in Smart Men's Business, we are all about motivating you, inspiring you to begin your day, regardless on how the night went. Yeah, if things didn't go well, and of course, you lost out some people, we really send our condolences, whoever. And of course, those that had inconveniences on their way to work, it's never too late. You know, get on that, get your day started. But let's get into motivation as we see how the day will go for us. Well, of course, for those that are always up to getting inspired, that is always what we have for you. And of course, get your day motivated with Smart Men's Business. And of course, for you to be successful, you have to be motivated every now and again, every morning, so that you can start your day well with a good mindset, with a good, clear head. I know the feeling of waking up when you do not know how the day goes, but here, we always have you and hope for the best. Well, Andrew, how was your morning? How are you prepared for the month of December? We are left with few hours, few days. Yeah. Next week is going to be December, ending the year.
Yeah.
I think later on we shall discuss next month how the year has been for us. You know, looking through the year, what we have achieved. I will say I have the percentage at which I have achieved this year. On my bucket list, I have like 2 items ticked, only 2 of like 100 options.
Items in terms of property or something, acquisition of something?
No, plans. I mean, when the year begins, you have plans on how your year is gonna run, on what you expect the year to, how it's gonna be. But on that bucket list, on the things I had to do this year, I have two ticked. I think I had like 10 things. I have 2 ticked. So that means that the 8 will have to go in next year. So literally, I've achieved like 2% of.
Okay.
A little bit, 20%.
Me personally, what it means to me. I mean, when we talk about towards the end of the year, I mean the outlet, the place of where I find myself. With ultimate responsibility is the degree of self-improvement. How have I improved myself in terms of that? Because when the improvement you put upon to yourself is actually currency in itself.
Mental health.
It's currency. Like in terms of value, you attract value to yourself, as compared. So anyway, it depends on what people think. Different people have different ideas and what they can really portray out there. But to me, that's what I perceive it.
Well, of course, as you know, we are always here to keep you updated on what is happening in our country, Uganda. But then today we shall be giving you a heads up on what is going to be transpiring throughout the weather today from the different districts, even across Africa, in Africa, East Africa entirely. So from the morning to night, what we expect our weather to be like, because it's good actually for people to predict, to know what is coming in. Yeah, if you have to go with heavy sweaters, if you have to go with light clothes, please. And of course, Inidi is going to be taking us through the weather updates.
Good morning. You're welcome to Smart 24 TV, where we are driving your business, and I'm here to bring you the weather forecast for the day. Starting with Jinja, Uganda. In the morning, we expect the degrees to be at 74, meaning we shall have some sunshine there. Then in the afternoon, they will increase to 77 degrees. And in the evening, they will drop to 72 degrees. We expect some bit of drizzling there. Then at night, they will drop to 69 degrees. Moving on to Kampala, our own capital city. In the morning, the degrees will be at 21 degrees. And in the afternoon, they will be at 24. We expect some drizzles later on in the afternoon, like in the hours of 1. And in the evening, they'll be at 21. And overnight, they'll be at 20 degrees. We obviously expect some rain in the night. And moving on to Abidjan, Ivory Coast. In the morning, the degrees will be at 30, and in the afternoon, they'll still be at 30. The sun will be out, and then in the evening, it will be a bit cloudy, and the degrees will drop to 28, and at night, still to 26. Moving on to New York in the United States. We obviously know that they're going through I think the winter is starting, Mercy, yes. So we shall have the degrees at 10, then in the afternoon they'll be at 12, and in the evening they'll be at 10 still, and then overnight they will drop to 9. In United Arab Emirates, it will have
degrees, and overnight still they will drop to 22, and obviously we expect some rain at night. Jinja, Uganda, in the morning, 74 degrees, the sun will be out, and it's already out actually. We expect it to continue that way till the afternoon, where the degrees will have to increase to 77, and in the evening they will drop to 72, and overnight 69 degrees. Obviously we expect some rain in the night. Thank you. That is all we had for the weather forecast today. Smart 24 TV, where we are driving your business. Well, of course, that is Ini Dankunda, and of course giving us an overview of what the weather is going to be like, not only in Uganda, but of course in East Africa, and of course globally. So as you know, our coverage reaches all over. Well, of course, get prepared. If you're expecting rain, please have yourself ready for the day. Well, of course, today, away from that, today we're discussing the hotel industry in Uganda and how far that we have progressed. And of course, earlier on, Andrew was discussing with Godwin, and of course, we see that we all have over 3,800 hotels in Uganda. And of course, the famous ones, you know, those that were close to 5-star. We have Serena, we have Munyonyo, yeah, I think those are the renowned hotels that we have in Uganda. Of course, those that are even up country that we do not know of. But of course, the hotel industry has actually helped to boost tourism, you know, because those are, that is where most people have their accommodation from. So we want to be looking at how this has actually how this has been a key driver towards the enhancement of the industry. We want to see the target market in Africa.
Yeah. That is great. You know, the hotel industry has been, you know, evolving over time. The investment rate is also it's happening at the same time. Now, from the bigger perspective, if we are to take a look at the African perspective, the biggest story of the hotels, when we talk about the hotels, the biggest factor we see here was the COVID-19 pandemic, which really led to quite a heavy loss when it comes to, I mean, the tourism travels. You know, the travels were really down at the moment. But as we speak right now, for the past 1 year, there has been actually a recovery of the hotel industry, most especially in some countries. For example, Rwanda, as of 2022, that was towards last year, it recorded its recovery rate, that is most especially in tourism, was less by 20% to the pre-pandemic levels. Literally, it was able to make 80%, just less by 20% to get back to the pre-pandemic level. So it shows you how the tourism industry was actually, had been revived in that country. And now the reviving, that means there was a call for investment in the hotel industry. Now, this is a general aspect all across Africa. But of course, despite the fact that Africa, we've been having a little bit of issues in, most especially when it comes to the structures of the hotel ownership. Not so many, because in Africa we are so much more of the hotel ownership is more based on individual aspects, individual basis, other than the other Western ideology, which is more of portfolio best, you know, having a group of aspects. And in this way, it will help in a way to reduce risks, because it spreads the risks, you know, the portfolio best. But Africans have not really embraced that. But now, still, what we need to take a look at in here, we've had Africans invest into these hotels. Rwanda is a good example. But unfortunately, it's more like the foreigners have kind of more dominated these for quite a number of reasons. You know, most especially if you go to hotels in the Northern Africa, whereby a huge percentage, because these hotels have what we call classes they serve, you know, most especially, for example, I'm going to dwell on North Africa, of course, Central Africa, Southern Africa, Western Africa. But later on the show, we shall be, of course, getting deeper into getting to understand what each region really requires. What is the class of class of people do the hotels in that region really attract in regards to that? Well, just a briefing here. Of course, we've seen macroeconomic factors at country level, regional level, have been quite a little bit effectual, have affected at the rate at which these hotels really perform. Now, of course, we also see the rise of the sub-Saharan, which is a potential market too, and we see a rising of the middle class who don't just travel, who just don't do business travels, but rather they actually travel to explore the continent to see. Definitely, that calls for attraction when it comes to revenues, which the hotel industry is going to be generating. And also, we don't, of course, leave out the Arab world, which is also expanding, and some of the key investments that they can put in Africa are actually these accommodation aspects, and that is really providing quite a huge one. Now, Africa, because in southern, now if we away from North Africa, which is largely dominated by, most of the hotels actually dominated by foreigners, if we come in down to southern Africa, recently after the COVID-19, after some lockdowns were lifted in South Africa, some of the players in the hotel industry, when it comes to paying the workers the wages, they were paying just 50%, as one of the ways to keep afloat for this industry, and that really worked out for them quite a great deal. That later on, when the industry recovered to full capacity, they were able to get back the full salaries. And of course, we've also seen the aspect of some of these hotels developing products which help in efficiency, and also trying to see ways they can lower the costs of production, because that's one of the huge issues, most especially when it comes to Africa, the cost of operation. But we are seeing that really being dealt with. Now, of course, we also see in Africa the hotel acquisition is starting to phase, most especially being more regional portfolio based rather than individual, because it helps spreading the risk. Now, this is what I was talking about, this perspective, and the great thanks to the foreigners that are coming up with these ideologies, and we believe that the African institutes actually are going to take these. But of course, the rise of the sub-Saharan market, right there, it calls for quite a number of a number of attractions, most especially when it comes to the foreign investors that are planning to come and put up these hotels in Africa. But also, it goes back to still the natives, the African natives, that they can actually really be able to participate into this industry. And maybe another fact that we need to understand, that as compared to the rest of the world, Africa experienced the lowest recovery rate of the hotel industry as compared to other industries, other continents, right there. But of course, this is due to quite a number of factors, because last time we had quite a number of elections that were taking place in some countries. Of course, the political factors having a role to play in that, but also there is the aspect of policies which governments put in place in those countries to put it out there. Like, for example, Rwanda, when it comes to transparency, it's really quite easy for investors to actually start up in there, most especially the foreigners. So that explains the reason as why there is the existence of few countries in Africa that have stable policies, most especially when it comes to that sector, the hotel industry, the recreation industry, the hospitality, that really attracts that. But anyway, we see that, of course, the development of this industry is largely determinant on other industries, like the tourism industry.
Of course, one of the reasons as to why the hotel industry grows over time, actually, it's because of the demand, tourism also being a contributing factor for the hotel industry to expand. And of course, the more tourists we have in the country, the more there is need for hotels to come up. And of course, I've been looking at an example. I would give Dubai. Actually, when it comes to the hotel industry, it is really thriving, and of course, it's renowned for its luxurious accommodation, diverse hospitality offerings, and strategic location. And of course, when you go to Dubai, my goodness, when you go to the Middle East, my goodness, you have a lot you can look out for yourself, because there are very many luxurious places that you can go as long as you have the money. Yeah, that is why they have actually invested in the hotel business. Why? Because there is increased demand for tourism. Yeah, they're being strategic enough, and of course they're sponsoring different games and sports, and so definitely they're also doing that as a way of improving their tourism, and of course being known for its luxurious hotels and different sceneries. Most people actually do go there for honeymoon, for different events, and of course one of also the factors that has led to the growth of the whole hotel industry in Dubai is, of course, them hosting major events. Of course, Dubai has actually made a point that they host some of the big events all over. Now, of course, they're going to be hosting the COP28. Trust me, there is a lot that is going to be looked out for. People are going to get ideas. People are going to book, and of course, it doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy actually, because I see daily per room is $433. $433 per room, and that is maybe in there like for 30 minutes, because why not? They're luxurious. I don't think you can go there and get this rare. That is the quality I want Uganda to be in, because we are one of the top tourist destinations in Africa. So how about we invest much more into the hotel industry? Yeah, away from people coming to to tour around. Accommodation is key. Someone wants to sleep in an environment where they feel safe and secure, and they can breathe freshness. People book tickets to go to the Maldives, to see blue waters, to have, to be up there, and, so that is the kind of a positivity I want for Uganda. Well, of course, giving an example of the different renowned hotels in Dubai, we have Baja Al Arab, we have Atlantis, well, of course, we have Armani. So those are one of the top, hotels that are in Dubai, which people have booked tickets to go and view, take pictures. You may not even spend the night, but just looking at it. They have skyscrapers. So definitely, how about we pick a leaf? The fact that we have what we can offer the world, how about we invest into that? Not only the renowned hotels that we have, but of course, Andrew, actually, if you see in Uganda, people are actually focusing in up country. Yeah, the places we used to think, because people are now shifting from the city center to now. They're going back. They're realizing there is a lot of potential up country. There's a lot of potential. People are going back. They're investing much more in the hotel industry, because at the end of the day, someone has to rest. Yes,
that is true.
Yes, at the end of the day, someone has to put their head somewhere. So definitely, that is one of. If I was to invest, I would actually invest in that.
Yeah, of course, that's quite a brilliant aspect. Just not only in the hotel industry, but also in other industries, there is quite a huge focus, most especially to moving inwards, because cities develop heading towards the suburbs.
You remember, like I was giving an example to someone and telling them Gayaza was a different part of the world. People would be like, oh, it's so far, but now if you go there, trust me, it's going to be a city on its own. It's going to be, I believe if you want to start up a business, you should go there, because what is not there is really, you'll be amazed with the kind of buildings that are there. Top class.
Yeah, top class indeed. Well, we are discussing hotels in here in Africa, and of course we are going to take a break for now, but when we return, there is something I wanted you to know, viewers out there, and also especially for those of you that are viewing across Africa, our viewers in West Africa, North Africa. Africa has quite a number of regions. We have the northern region, we have the sub-Saharan region, we have the central region, southern region, and all that. And all these regions have a certain class of people they attract, most especially towards hotels. But of course, when we return from the break, we're going to be breaking it down. For luxurious tourists, if you're this kind of a tourist that likes things of luxury, North Africa is here for you. If you're this kind of a tourist that you are an eco-tourist, Central Africa is for you. If you're this kind of a tourist, you are a business traveler, Sub-Saharan Africa is for you. If you are a budget tourist, you're a budget, South Africa is definitely for you. But of course, when we return, we're going to be breaking down all these factors. So even for the investors that are viewing across Africa, you can actually know the nature of hotel you can establish in a given region in Africa, basing on the tastes and preferences of the people in that region. So that and more are coming up shortly after this break.